right, welcome back to ABA exam review and the continuation of our BCBA task list series. Today we're continuing behavior change procedures with G7 shaping. Shaping is an essential tool in our toolbox for increasing behavior, for decreasing behavior. It's just very, very powerful when we're trying to slowly build up to what we would consider a terminal or final behavior. So understanding how to shape and what shaping is an essential part of your toolkit as a behavior analyst. As always, check out behavioranalyststudy.com for all of our study materials, including our combo pack. When you pass your exam, let us know so we can include you in the Sunday shout out. Work hard, study hard. Let's get going. All right, to start, what is shaping? Shaping is comprised of differential reinforcement, meaning reinforcing a target, putting other targets on extinction, of successive approximations. When we talk about successive approximations, we mean steps towards what we call a terminal behavior. The terminal behavior is our target. What is our final objective with shaping? And so to really just understand shaping, you just have to understand this key idea. We're using differential reinforcement to reinforce steps towards a terminal behavior. If our terminal behavior is writing the letter A, approximations might be one line, and then two lines, and then finally our terminal behavior of A. Shaping can sometimes be that simple. If you're dealing with a more complex skill, let's say throwing a football, you might have many more steps as you reach that terminal behavior of throwing the football correctly. That's what shaping is, though. Differentially reinforcing closer and closer steps or approximations to our final terminal behavior. Ultimately, it's a three-part process. When you're actually shaping, you want to identify the change in the learner's environment. So let's say our terminal behavior is A. If I write a line, that is a change in my environment. You would then assess, is that change a closer approximation to the terminal behavior? In this case, it is. And then we differentially reinforce. Now, if we've already reinforced two lines, then you might not want to reinforce one line anymore because one line is no longer closer to our final behavior of A. And that's all part of the strategy with shaping. Where are we at in our approximations? How close are we to the terminal behavior? What approximation should actually receive reinforcement versus what approximation should now be put on extinction? And as always, the terminal behavior is the end product. Now, there are two ideas with shaping. We can shape across topographies and we can shape within topographies. When we think about shaping across topographies, this is what we typically think of in shaping. For example, if our terminal behavior is the word car, right? Well, as we get closer, C and A, these are all different forms until we reach our terminal behavior of car. So we're going to shape across these topographies of this word car until we actually get to car. But if we're shaping within topographies, we already have the form of the behavior. So let's say we want this terminal behavior of car, which we have. We don't want to change the form, but maybe we want to change a dimension. Maybe we want to change the magnitude. What if we want to change the size of the word? And so now we're going to shape it to make it a little bigger, to make it a little bigger. And now we're finally going to reach our terminal behavior of very big. This is within, right? We've got the same form. We're just changing a measurable dimension. Here, we're shaping across topographies. These are three different topographies until we get to our terminal. And now we're going to shape within that topography until we get to our terminal of magnitude. Another good example of within topographies is if you're playing a song on the piano. If you learn all the notes, you can play the song, and we might not want to change what notes you're playing, but maybe we want you to play some notes faster, some notes slower, and that would be within the topography. We'll understand this idea of across topographies, which is what we typically think of shaping as, and then within topographies. When we have behaviors that are already known, we don't want to change the form. We just want to change something about those behaviors. Then we shape within. And then finally, what are the steps, right? In the first slide, we looked at actively shaping. How do we build up to shaping? because ultimately it's a very simple idea of differential reinforcement of approximations. So first, you want to identify terminal behavior. Let's say our terminal behavior is writing a square. What's the criterion for success? Let's say just 3 squares in a row. Let's analyze the response class. Well, we can have all kind of squiggles, right? We can have squiggles, lines, all these different shapes and approximations of squares. We can have lines everywhere. This is the response class. Eventually, we need these responses, though, to make a square. So we have to pick what first behavior are we going to reinforce. And that all depends on your learner, right? Let's say your learner can draw straight lines. Then maybe the first behavior to reinforce is a straight line. What if they can't draw at all? Then maybe you're just going to reinforce any squiggles whatsoever. That's going to be based on your learner. And as you pick your first behavior and you start to differentially reinforce that approximation, you then start reinforcing closer and closer approximations until we reach our terminal behavior of square. Now, we did sort of a deep dive there, and we're not trying to overcomplicate shaping because it's not a complex idea. It's an important idea, and it can get technical, but it isn't overly complex. So don't get overwhelmed by what we just talked about. Remember, differential reinforcement of approximations to hit a terminal behavior. As always, check out behavioranalyststudy.com for all of our study materials. Please subscribe if you have not already. When you pass, let us know so we can include you in the Sunday shout out. Work hard, study hard,